This podcast is a member of WildGamesProductions.com and D20Radio.com. Original.
Yoinks! And away!
Basic.
Yoinks! And away!
First edition.
Yoinks! And away!
And then...
I says, Pigpen, this here's a rubber duck, and I'm about to put the hammer down.
Welcome to THACO, the best damn AD&D 2nd edition podcast ever. I have the dice again. So much you have some shot. Here's your character sheet. You are with
It's up.
the Continental.
Wow.
Hi, folks. THACO's Hammer, number 49. Splatbook number 49.
We're getting old.
I think we are. And I'm DM Glenn, and this is DM Brian here.
Good evening, folks. What's going on out there in the gaming world?
We'd like to know. And,
Yes.
of course, DM Corey.
What's going on, party people?
Howdy, party people. So let's just go straight into hits and crits.
What are you doing tonight? I don't know. What are you doing tonight? The burlesque Louis Paradise. Miserable and lonely and stupid. What am I, crazy or something? I got something good here. What am I hanging around with you guys for?
Hits and crits. Hits and crits. What's up for you guys doing this week, huh? There's English. There's English in there somewhere.
somewhere.
There's English in there. Brian, what have you been doing?
Oh, I've just been messing around with characters and things like that. I've pretty much got everything set for our AP podcast, and that, yeah, as a matter of fact, that's the last big thing in gaming I did. I actually edited and split into 2 parts per session our AP podcast, and now all it needs to do is go up on the server.
Which we're waiting for Vince to do. And Brian is going to be editing that. I'm so proud of him.
Oh, what?
He's my prodigy. I taught him very well. How about you, Corey? What's up?
Got a hankering for painting, so I pulled out all the lead and started slinging paint on some lead. Painting minis. Got another box set of armored orcs, so I've been painting them and getting them based up. And drawing,
Okay.
art,
Cool.
you know, the usual.
Did you throw $100 to Reaper for their Kickstarter?
Of course I did. My minis are on their way.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, you got to put some pictures up on OSR Gaming when they get there.
I will.
That would be very, very cool. So, who you been arting for?
Myself, actually, working on my comic and working on some interior art for another supplement book for my world.
Cool. Very nice.
Well,
Very nice.
what about you, Glenn? What have you been doing?
I did some art for Vince, and Vince has now put out his latest version of Mazes and Perils, which is a Holmes clone. That goes up to 12th level, and 90% of the art in there is mine. So I took my little butt down to Kinko's and got it printed out, spiral bound, and let me tell you, it looks gorgeous. I mean, the guy accidentally put it all on the color printer when I told him I wanted black and white in the middle, and so he didn't charge me for it. He charged me black and white price, and let me tell you, the blacks are black. I mean, and even the text and everything, you can really read this thing. It's really nice. Once again, my basic game got canceled last week. And it's like my next basic game this Saturday is going to be canceled. So I've been playing in Thorky's game. Thorky's been running us through a 1E scenarios, and I got to play Yunkasaka, a Finnish dwarf who is an ex-bare knuckles boxer. I have down Warhammer, Mace, and Fist in my column. His fists do 1d4 per fist, and he
plus his strength.
No. The way he's doing is he does 4 points of damage flat out per fist, but he gets 2 attacks around.
So he can basically just beat someone to death with his fist.
Yeah, I want him to go in there and an Umber Hulk. Hang on,
Wow, that's a brave dwarf to do that to an Umber Hulk.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, well, there's a limits. I mean, he has yet to approach a red dragon or anything and just pummel him into.
Oh, and Glenn,
Yeah.
word to the wise: stay away from the non-corporeal undead. Don't try to punch it.
Stupid.
But the question is, if you got magic rings, would that be considered magic weapons that he's punching with?
I don't know. I'm going to see what happens if he gets gauntlets of ogre strength.
Oh God, can
Because
you
he's
imagine
got
that?
1889 strength right now.
Mhm.
Now, what you want to do is you want to get a girdle of giant strength, and then you want to get a pair of Ring of the Ram.
Oh, God.
Oh my God. Power
Then you don't
Gaming
need
101.
Then you don't need weapons. Then you're
Morgan's
good.
already saying that I was overpowered before the game started. And it's like, I got this other character we never used. Do you want me to do it? No, that's fine. It's your jingle. Just, if it unbalances, it unbalances. I gave you a chance.
Yep.
But that's pretty much what I've been doing. And you know what, folks? This is an email show.
Yes, indeed it is.
But we're not going to have our regular segments and things like that. We're going to read emails. And Brian has the email bag.
Yes, I do. I've got the email bag right here.
Okay, why don't you pull one out here?
So I get to sit back and drink and just make comments? This is great.
You mean like you usually do?
Exactly. Nothing different there.
That's true.
Okay. This one is from Dennis Payne.
Hi.
Hey, Dennis. Well, he spends the first part of the email correcting us about where the location of Chult in Forgotten Realms. I think it was Olan who said it was in below Karator. I know that's not true. That's almost directly south of Waterdeep.
Correct. It's exactly down south of Waterdeep, past Calamashan, across the sea. I'm sorry, I'll be quiet. Go ahead.
Don't with this Forgotten Realms.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
But, he actually said, remember when we talked about Sauriels in a previous episode? He says, I played a Sauriel in a second edition game recently. He was a hornhead Sauriel cleric who dual-classed in a fighter. He came into the realms trying to find out what happened to the Sauriels now inhabiting Lost Vale. Unfortunately, the portal opened to the realms and dumped him in the jungles of Chult.
Oh, good.
And Dungles? Oops, I said jungles. That's what I meant to say. Since his god was from another world, he only had second level or lower spells. He dual-classed into fighter at the time during his time in the jungles. He learned common before meeting up with the party. We had significant number of psionicists, so telepathy was generally used for communication, but he had a chalkboard as well.
Good.
Nice. I can imagine that big. Now, the Hornhead is the biggest of the four Sauriel races, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Correct.
And yeah, I could just see him walking around with a big chalkboard and having to draw diagrams and things like that. That's actually kind of funny. The DM decided that the way I had my character talk about his god sounded like Ubtao, which is the big deity down there in Chult, actually. So he says, we decided this god was going to be Ubtao, which is why he appeared in Chult initially, but his character was so confused by the new world that he failed to recognize him. Mm-hmm. And he said, I always envisioned him eventually going back to Chult to preach to the Terramen, which are the flying lizard men, mm-hmm. who are rather brutal, shall we say. Mm-hmm. And that is his email.
Okay. You know what I'm going to do for Sauriels if I ever run them?
What's that?
Since they can't talk, instead of carrying around a chalkboard, I'm going to create a special spell for their spellcasters that whatever they want to say automatically appears on this little wooden sign they hold up. Kind of like Wile E. Coyote.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean,
I'm just imagining a spell being created called Lizard Lips. Because lizards have no lips. Lizard lips. Okay, I can now understand what you're saying. I can speak English.
Okay, that's why you can't kiss Jim Morrison. Right.
Well, yeah, you can't kiss him because he's dead.
That too.
Unless you're into that kind of thing.
Even when he was alive, he was kind of half...
Yeah, because he was drunk. This is true.
That's true.
This is very, very true.
But Sauriels, I always want to, make them talk for some reason. I think it would be cool if they kind of talked.
Yeah, I would think so too, but I think that's part of the role playing process to kind of have the player figure out a way to get his point across, other than having to shout with his. Yeah,
it's like
sense.
It's like playing a Wookiee in Star Wars. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's like. But the whole thing is that the people who can understand Wookiee, they know what's being said, and the way they suggest it is just to say, to have the player play it out in Wookiee, then say, like, what he said was blah, blah, blah.
Right. I don't care what you smell. Get down there.
Exactly. Get down there. Don't worry about it. But, anyway, so, like I said, I ran an NPC fighter, which you guys may or may not meet, depending on how long you lasted my AP game. Haha. And like I said, hers was just a modified helm of telepathy, which allowed her to communicate telepathically with other creatures, but she had to listen to the language being spoken for like an hour. Mm-hmm. And after that she, then the helm would be able to translate for her.
Right.
Yeah. Which was kind of funny because, when she was first encountered, when she was talking inside of everybody's heads, they're like, where's that voice coming from? Yeah. And after a while, because they're looking around and casting all kinds of detection spells, I have the Sauriel waving her arms and just pointing to herself with both hands. Like, over here, idiots, I'm talking to you. Things like that. So, like I said, good role-playing opportunities.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have a magic item in my world called, it's an actual earring. It's an earring of the ambassador that gives you 12 hours of translation. Mm-hmm. And then after 12 hours, it needs to recharge for another 12 hours. So essentially, if they're going on an adventure, a lot of the adventurers go to looking for these because they're limited magic. They can only translate vocals.
How would they recharge it? Do they carry it around?
They have to take it out and leave it out for 12 hours for it to recharge.
Oh, okay. I thought they carried a recharge that looks like a Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Hand in it,
Yeah.
And blackest day and darkest night. Anyway.
Oh. Unless escape my second edition site.
There we go. Okay. Next on the hit parade, we have one of two emails from our frequent contributor, DM Kojo.
This is a voice.
What's up, Kojo?
All right. So I'm going to turn up my speakers, and we'll listen to what he's got to say.
Greetings, friendly neighborhood hammer wielders. This is DM Kojo. Got a question for you about energy drain from undead. Always been unsure exactly how to play this, mostly because my questions come from the fact of it's pretty damaging attack, obviously. And my questions are, do you allow a save, whether the rules say so or not? Do you allow personally in your home campaigns saves versus energy drain? If so, what saving throw do you use? Is it death magic? What kind of thing do you use for that? And also, I was wondering, as far as the energy drains go, do you also take away, when somebody loses a level, the hit points that went along with the level automatically? Or do you just say that the hit points stay, but once you lose them, you never go back? Your hit dice is reduced, I guess, but your hit points are temporarily above that until you lose them, and then you can't get them back unless you gain another level back. Also, I've played with Dungeon Masters who allowed people who were level drained to earn their experience points back at double the rate, only for the levels that they lost. I don't know if I would use that, but I have seen people use that. So, just some general questions about energy drain. Any input you've got on that would be much appreciated. Keep up the good work. Thanks. Bye.
We're back with level drain. Thank you, Kojo, by the way.
Thanks, Kojo.
Yeah. Level drain. Let's see. It's funny because, excuse me, in my basic game, we've had to deal with a lot of level drains. This one guy had been drained 4 times, and every time, and the priests have restoration spells, but it's going to cost you
a lot.
Yeah, so he loses the hit points while he's in there, but we try and get our butts out as fast as possible so we can take care of him. Yeah. They also have restoration potions, which were like $1,000 each, or 1,000 gold pieces each, I should say.
Right. And I would think those would be extremely rare.
So I would like to make it that way for 2E2, where, okay, yeah, you can get it back, but, you know, how much? It's going to be a drain on your treasure finding.
Yeah. See, this is one of those things where and here I go. This is going to take me a minute because this is a subject that
That's all right. I got a magazine.
Yeah. This is a subject that I got into all kinds of arguments about on various message boards. My whole thing is that with energy drain, you know, to me, I never liked the mechanic of taking away XP. I mean, if you're going to drain somebody's life force away, then fine, drain the life force, but, you know, don't make it to where now if you get drained down to, like, you know, first level by whatever you're fighting, now all of a sudden your 10th level compatriots have to go out of their way to protect you, right, and then all that. What I did was I came up with an alternate method. For each level that now, each character has what's called life levels. This is my system. And for each experience level you have 1 life level. So if you get hit in combat by undead that drain life energy, you take, you know, life level is taken away. What that translates to is a -1 across the board to every attack roll, damage roll, saving throw, ability check, NWP check on down the line. Right. And if you're like a thief or you have thieving skills, a -5 for each level. Now, and that's permanent until you get a restoration spell. And I mean, that way it keeps the lethality, because of course if you have all your life levels drained, you're dead, you turn into a wraith or a wight or whatever,
or a vampire or whatever,
or a vampire, exactly.
So these life levels, that means that's independent of any experience earned from that point on to get the level back.
Correct.
Exactly. Yeah, so you can get up, so you can make the next level, but you won't exactly make the next level.
Exactly, because if you're a 7th level fighter, you have 3 levels drained, and you make 8th level, fine, you're an 8th level fighter, but you still have that -3 across the board on everything. And not only that, you get, I believe it's 10. Oh, that's right. It's all the other thing is you also get hit points taken away. It's basically the number of levels that you've lost divided by your character level. And so, that way you get that portion taken away also. And also, it's a role-playing thing to where no matter if you're sitting next to a bonfire and your skin is getting second-degree burns on it, you don't feel warmth. You're shaking all the time. And you just feel like pieces of you have been taken away because, quite frankly, they have been.
Metaphysically, so you are correct.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen other people doing it other ways where it's temporary, they regain it after a certain amount of time. And I'm like, no, that kind of takes the fear away. It kind of nerfs the undead, so to speak.
Okay, that's nice. Corey, no, you have your own system. I want to ask Corey about. I know he'd do it in 3-3-5, and I never agreed with it. When somebody loses a level, I want to talk about hit points for a minute. When somebody loses a level in your game, Corey, how do you adjust the hit points?
I grab their character sheet out of their hand and hand them the one that they had previous level.
Okay, so you don't, because I've seen it where, like, okay, you lost a level, roll whatever your hit die is, and that's how many points you've lost.
Yeah, I'd do it that way too, if I was going by the book.
Because once again, 3-5, doing it hard again, you have to keep track of every freaking hit point roll at every level.
Well, right.
So you can take back that.
But
they do. But people do. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, no, I agree.
before they level up, I photocopy their sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Then give it back to them, let them level their character up.
Okay.
So if they get hit by it, if they're level 5, they get hit by anything that would drain a level.
Mm-hmm.
I just take their character sheet and hand them the old one.
Okay, so you don't have to do it by bookkeeping. You just do it by
Correct.
archiving.
And they're like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me!" And I got to do a little upkeep with. Oh, well, since that last character sheet, you found a +2 sword. I need to add that to your old sheet because you still have your weapon. You just lost a level.
Right.
Et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I literally have everybody's old level character sheets, and they're like, "Okay, you've been hit 6 times. You're level 2. Here's your level 2 character sheet." You've got to be kidding me. I'm like, hey.
That's what you get for going against level draining undead.
Hey, you
stop being a monk and trying to fist fight the lich.
Yeah, exactly.
You still got your stats, so be thankful. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, because me, it was just go. Okay, what's your hit die D8? Roll a D8. All right, use that many hit points.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because
and then once you got your restoration spell, you get those back.
Because I don't. I mean, yeah, I'll have a copy of their character sheet, but I don't archive them like you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, everything's on the shelf, so I just pull it out of their folder.
Right. Right. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
There you go, Coach. There's a couple ways.
Yeah, there you go. How about that?
Just one more little thing.
Yeah.
In as far as restoration spells go, now I've gotten into some debates about, should that really be a 7th level spell? I could see it being a 5th level spell, or at least a lesser restoration being 5th level, because getting a level back through magic and things like that is just, it's really hard.
Uh-huh.
And, and usually it's not money that will get the player, it's not the money that'll get the player his level back. Usually they have to undertake a major quest for the priest to cast that level of spell on them.
Right.
Which is good for the DM, but bad for the player.
Or do like in our basic games. Okay, we got all this stuff to set you up if you do this again, but you better find a lot of treasure. Fortunately, we did. We found Boku treasure because it's like, okay, here's another 1,000.
Or just have 6 months free because you're going to be.
Or have some nice magic items and scrolls you'd like to donate to the temple.
There you go. Yeah, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You pay for it one way or another. You pay me now, you pay me later,
But you will pay me.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Kojo.
Right.
You got one to read now?
Yes, I've got one.
All right.
Yeah, this one's fairly long. This is from Nathan Bouvier.
Okay, Boov.
Who is Boov on the Piazza message board. Okay. Now, we'll take this in pieces because he has several questions.
Okay.
All right. Hi, guys. First off, I've been enjoying all the shows you've been doing. I recently got into podcasts, and THACO's Hammer is one of my favorites. Well organized, well done, and entertaining. And thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I started out gaming by buying the red box at a lawn sale when I was a kid and quickly got into it and moved on to second edition, which is probably my favorite so far, owning a good amount of books from rules and adventures to campaign settings all before I was 16. Yeah, I had quite a bit by the time I was 16. I'm currently on episode 27. Oh, you got a long way to go, son. And working my way up, but I wanted to drop an email before I got too much further with some thoughts and ideas I've had thanks to your show. I'm currently running a BECME/RC game that started in December.
Nice.
Yeah. And my players have had a great time with it. I'm a self-admitted no good at designing my own adventures, so what I did was start with the red box and have the PCs be hired to hunt down Bargle. Yeah, good luck with that.
Oh.
I then modified many of the B modules to all fit into the campaign, add in things for future reference. So while many people may dislike published adventures, I've taken a different route and taken those adventures and changed what I needed in order to fit my campaign. And Boov, that's exactly what you should do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you take the material and you shoehorn it in, you fix it, you change it, as Full On would say, lift and shift, do whatever you need to do to make it.
Reskin it.
Reskin it, exactly. He continues. In one episode, you mentioned open ceremonies to games. What we do is actually eat dinner. Most of the time, my fiance and I will pick up some pizzas. The host will provide some drinks and snacks, as will our fifth player. We eat, talk, and laugh before we get going on to the game. We love it, and look forward to it. Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, just to kind of get everybody in, settled in, full stomachs, kind of just, BS about non-game stuff and just relax before you get into it.
Yeah, with the new guys that come in, they see us all drinking beer. And, it's and the first thing we ask is, your name not Bruce?
Your name not Bruce. Okay, his first question, I think.
You think?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
In episode 16, you had talked about a working ecology in dungeons, and I agree. The few times I've designed dungeons, I've always racked my brain in trying to figure out how everything would work together. In order to fix what I saw as some problems in B1, well, I don't see how it's a problem because you can put whatever you want in there, but I digress. I changed all the monsters around. I had the first level full of undead, living statues, and golems, as I feel that would make sense for a wizard to put these in place to defend their home. Yeah, that's good logic. Along with some molds and oozes. The second level, I put an underground stream and made it a troglodyte habitat, and do note my players will be higher levels when they finally challenge it. Wow, they must be really low level, because, yeah. Okay, that was more of a statement. Yeah, when it comes down to, it's like I said back when we talked about it. It's like, look, put a little logic in it, but don't try to be a Vulcan about it, because you'll drive yourself crazy. Yep. Go with what makes sense, but don't try to reinvent the wheel. All it is just a game for your players and yourself to enjoy. If you drive yourself crazy with the small details, your game will suffer because of it. Yeah. Okay. In episode 18, you mentioned starting spell books. One thing I've done with my players is all magic user spell books automatically had detect and read magic, as I feel these would be some of the first spells they would learn. Yeah, I agree. I then select 2 to 3 more spells for the books to start off with, and all other spells are up to the players to put in. Yeah, that's pretty much how I do it. I let the player just I let them generate it randomly, but yeah, that's a pretty decent way. As for the splat books, I do agree they can be a great thing or a bad thing. Kits like the Peasant Hero from the Fighter's book are great and can add some excellent role-playing to a game without overpowering it. Others, though, are a bit off. Yeah. Before you decide to, put it in your game, look at it, go over it with a fine-tooth comb, make sure there aren't going to be any problems, and also know your players. Because that's where it really starts coming down, is if you've got some players that are always looking to kind of, game the system just a little bit for their own advantage, yeah, you're going to have problems.
Yeah.
Okay. In another early episode, some comments you guys made triggered an adventure idea in me. The PCs get hired to protect a village, and when they get there, they discover it's a kobold, goblin, or whatever kind of village, a humanoid village, basically. What do the players do, especially lawful and good players?
I love when they inspire stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, I'll answer the question first. Me, it would kind of depend on the alignment and the makeup of the party. If there's a paladin in the party, he's not going to want to have too much to do with this, unless they show their. Okay.
I disagree, but I'll let you continue. When I jump in, I'll explain to you my disagreement. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. If you are hired to protect a goblin or a kobold village, at least to the paladin, I would think that the kobolds and goblins or whatever it is would have to be not of the norm. They would have to have a different personality, if not in a completely different alignment, for him to even be bothered doing it. But that's just the way I feel about it. Now, how do you feel about it, Corey?
Well, you started to touch on where my disagreement lies. Paladins are lawful good. By second edition default rules, paladins are lawful good. If they get hired, the paladin's word is his bond. And if he made a promise to who hired him to protect the village, as long as the village wasn't doing outright evil,
Correct.
and as long as that village obeyed the laws of the nation of the king or whoever hired him to protect, it is his sworn duty to protect that village. He's going to hate it. He's going to despise it. But he's going to have to do it for his king. That's what paladins have to do.
Yep.
I agree.
And if it's a lawful party, he said lawful or good party, if it's a lawful party, they have to obey the laws of the land. And if the laws of the land say king's word is law, the king says protect this village. Sorry, guys, we got to do it. We're here. We got paid to do it. We have to do it. It's our duty.
Sounds right to me. It's like the foot soldiers in Nazi Germany. How many of them actually agreed with it?
Not that many, but they followed orders.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, and you're right. To a point, there shouldn't be massive chaos going around the goblins and stuff. And if the king or somebody in the town of importance hires the PCs to protect this village, there's got to be a reason why this human thinks this village is worth saving. Mm-hmm. And maybe they're giving a nice, they're robbing non-nationalists and giving the money to the king, like road tax. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they're cleaning up the swamp of lesser vermin or something. Or maybe they dump their sewage from the city into the marsh where the goblin village is, and it's their duty to clean it up and eat it or whatever they do. Mm-hmm. And essentially, as long as they're doing things for the village and they're not running around, smearing poop on each other and trying to hump the paladin's plate mail leg, I mean, I could see them, giving a grimace, but actually protecting the village. And honestly, putting aside the part of the king saying you should protect this town or whoever hires them, there's a reason why they're protecting them. There has to be a bigger evil. And the paladin is going to put the goblins to his back and say, fine, I'm supposed to protect you. There's a bigger evil over here. That's my job. Let's go kick some butt. Mm-hmm. And even if there's not a paladin in the party, the good party would say, well, we got to stop the bigger evil because they're hurting these group of creatures that obviously this town we got hired by wants to keep around. So we're going to have to do it for the good of the city. So I don't think there's a problem if you drop, a village of kobolds or goblins or because, they can be chaotic and not be evil. Mm-hmm.
Now,
I agree.
Now, Brian, you can take over the show. I got to go wash my ears out with bleach for that for that image of a kobold humping a paladin's leg.
Yeah.
Brain bleach.
Yes, brain bleach.
Like that. Okay, to continue on.
Yes.
In terms of making common monsters tougher and incorporating the splat books, in Dungeon Magazine 51, there's an adventure called The Bandits of Bunglewood. The background states that in order to save his life, a wounded fighter taught a small band of kobolds how to be fighters, and thus are second or third level fighters instead of common kobolds.
Nice.
A nice twist to a classic monster, doesn't make them overly powerful, but will give unaware PCs, oh look, more kobolds, yawn, a bit of a surprise. Yeah, I agree.
At least he didn't say the two dirty words, Tucker's kobolds.
Oh, yeah. Twitch. Sorry, I'm not, my nervous tick is starting whenever I hear about that. Anyway, and he concludes with,
yes.
I love how you review some books and modules. Are there plans to cover the HHQ series, and which are the fighters, wizards, clerics, thieves, challenges, and any specific modules for Dungeon Magazine?
Oh, hell
Is he
no.
listening to our show?
No, he's only up to issue 26. Come on, guys. He's not.
Well, to be honest, we haven't got to those yet. And when was the last time we reviewed a dungeon venture? It's been a while.
Last time,
the one with your retarded mushrooms.
I see mushrooms.
The last time was Mud Sorcerer's Tomb. That
There
was
we go.
episode 47.
So
that wasn't too long ago.
Yeah, but before then, it was quite a while. That's what I'm saying. We should work a couple more of those in sometime.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. We already did Fighter's Challenge. He just didn't get to it yet. Let's see what else. We'll review. I can probably put in Thieves Challenge in a future episode.
Is that the last of his email?
Yeah, that was it.
All right. Well, thank you for your input in your email. I just want to say thanks.
Thank you. Who was that?
Boov.
Yeah,
Boov.
Thank you, Boover.
Yeah, I'd like to do the clerics one. I think that'd be good. Maybe we should put some more of those in.
So
Boov, just for you, we'll put some more in, all right? And we'll work more on the dungeons. But if you're only up to issue 26 of our podcast, keep listening. You'll hear a bunch of them in there.
Yeah,
you can skip the one with the campestry.
Don't worry, we'll put some more cowbell in there. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. I got a fever, and the only cure is more cowbell.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And
Bruce Dickinson.
Hey.
Hey, I want to wear gold-plated diapers. What are you talking about?
Guess who's here?
And that's why Full On Gamer likes to wear purple panties. Hey, what's up there, Full On? What's going on there, buddy?
That's why we got Full On.
Come, let me give you a great big hug. I just got out of the CS gas chamber. I'm ready for you.
That's why we got Full On Gamer. Better late than never, folks.
Yes, indeed.
We're doing an email show, Full On.
Yep. Awesome.
Yep.
Do I get to read one, or do I just get to listen?
You get to listen.
Yeah.
And make comments like I do. Here, have a drink.
Ryan's reading, and we get to listen to voicemails and stuff like that. Okay, you got another voicemail?
Yeah. Actually, I do. Okay, this is our second one from DM Kojo, and if you guys hold on, I'll get it set.
Hey guys, it's DM Kojo. I have a question for you about playing dragons in combat. It's dawned on me that I don't think I've ever used a dragon in actual combat. I've used them as intimidation factors and things like that, but in all my years of playing back in the day and now my current time, I have never run one in combat. So I'd like some tips on how do you go about doing that. With there multiple attack options, there's a whole bunch of things obviously you can do, but I think that played wrong, they could be a very disappointing opponent, but played correctly, obviously quite formidable. So any tips and suggestions you have on that, that'd be great to hear. Thanks. Bye.
Oh, my.
Thank you, Kojo.
Yes, DM Full On Gamer, starring as George Takei.
I just have one word to say to Kojo, DM Kojo. Really? Really?
Yeah, what?
This game is not called Dungeons and Monster Manual. How come you not used a dragon yet?
Dungeons and Badgers.
Badger. Anyway.
Because Honey Badger doesn't give a bleep.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd play that.
Yeah, you would.
Squirrel.
But, yeah, second edition dragons, as we all know, have gotten the power upgrade. And with that power upgrade also came tactics, which meant they just weren't good for just breathing on you or just clawing and biting you. They could do all kinds of different things. They could snatch you out of the air, they could hit you with their tail, they could kick you with their back legs, all kinds of fun stuff. And
they can carry you up to 10,000 feet and watch you make a little crater.
Yep. Terminal velocity, anyone? But
what?
Yeah.
What, Corey?
Nothing.
Oh, come on.
Or they could polymorph into a microbe, go into your sebaceous or into your nose and nasal cavity, and then cancel the spell.
Oh.
That's just how I play it.
Yeah. Yeah, that does give a new meaning to the term fly on the wall, doesn't it? But anyway, yeah, I mean, dragons, yeah, they're powerful, especially, yeah. I mean,
well, let's talk the whole gamut. Start back in the day. Yeah. We'll tread on a little OSR and some sod treads here. Even then, dragons were not simply a pile of hit points with 3 attacks and a breath weapon.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They're dragons.
Yep.
They were all dragons.
Right.
Yep.
You treat them like dragons. They're intelligent. They're cunning. They're smarter than you. They've been living longer than you. They've been living longer than the elf. They like it that way. And everything on the planet is part of their food chain, including you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The bumper sticker does not lie. Do not meddle in the affairs of dragons, for you are crunchy and good with ketchup.
Yep.
Even the lawful good ones eat meat.
A bit, yeah, every once in a while, sure. But, yeah, like I said, the easiest way to do it is to is to basically, when you're planning an encounter with a dragon, you have to kind of go into it to say, okay, put yourself in his place. You are an extremely powerful creature, you're extremely intelligent, and you have a lot of treasure that a lot of beings, including other dragons, want. Yeah. So let's see. What can I do to make it safer for me?
I have minions.
Yeah.
Lots of minions who serve me and perform the shield function of the Secret Service.
Yeah,
I hire younger dragons. That's what I do.
Or have younger dragons.
Yes, family units are awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a small dragon. We attack it. We kill it in 2 rounds. Then you hear the roar of rage from the ledge above you that no one looks up to see as Mama and Daddy and the 2 teenagers look down at their new hatchling that y'all just killed so easily and are determining which part of your spleen is going to go well with the kobold.
I can't remember if it was basic or second edition or Judges Guild or what. I remember one module where you walk into a cave. If you go left, you're fine. If you go right, you walk into a big cavern with ledges and 5 red dragons.
I know that one. That's either in G1. It's either in G3 or it's in D2, D1 and 2. It's
Sounds like
one of those 2. Yeah, it's it's 2 blue dragons.
You get ice dragons in the frost. You get white dragons in the frost giants jarl's lair, and you get red dragons in the fire giants.
I kept telling everybody,
hey, you get 3 red dragons in Ravenloft in the lobby. Before they edited it and say, you know what, we can't put 3 dragons in the lobby of a castle, let's make them golem statue thingies. But originally they're written up as 3 red dragons.
But I kept telling people on the show, don't go right. Don't go right. If you do, make a 180 and turn around and go.
Because if you go right, you end up in that cavern, and you end up in the crossfire of 2 blue red dragons, or 2 blue dragons.
That's like one of the first rooms.
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
All right, back to your original question, Kojo. You want to play a dragon smarter than the players. You want to play a dragon smarter than your most powerful NPC on the planet. You want to play it.
Black dragons and white dragons are still probably smarter.
Right. And the intelligence can be replaced with cunning, as for like red dragons and the evil or chaotic ones that aren't going to sit there and have a conversation with their food. They're just going to eat.
But okay, go ahead.
You need to play them out almost a level right below the DM. Not for ultimate power, but I'm talking intelligence. These things have thought about it. If I make a cavern big enough to be my home, I can't have any little crawl spaces that I can't get in. Why? Because that's where the players go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, they need to have a way into my cavern to get in here. My food needs to come in here, so I'm going to give them an easy way in, but it's going to be hell to get out.
Yep. So
you go into the cavern, and there's a 75-foot drop. Well, the little meat bags in their little shiny tin cans are going to hook a grappling hook and go down. I don't need to. I can fly. Oh, yeah, wait, I can claw the walls. So they're going to think ahead before the players even decide what they're going to do. They've already seen it, and they know what's going to happen. You have to play them like they've done this thousands of times before, and you have to say to yourself, you know that big pile of treasure that they love to snuggle with? Some of it did come from dragons. The other came out of the backpacks of the failed food that came here to try to kill them. So you gotta use them, that they've done this before. It's old hat to them. Okay, there's a wizard in the party. There's usually one of those shiny guys in the back that likes to heal the big meat bag with the sword. So I gotta kill him first. Once he's down, then they don't have any healing. Then I take out the ranged guy, that guy with the bow and arrow. That's annoying. Then I can deal with the meat bag in the tin can with the sword.
Lord help the sneaky little guy who wants to get alone in behind me.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's going to meet my tail.
Now, on the other side of the coin, you can play them as genius level dragons if you want, but play them with personality.
Oh yeah,
what I'm saying. Okay,
your best survival trait on an adventure is to be entertaining and interesting. At least make them want to play with their food.
Not only that, think of it this way. Albert Einstein was a genius, but he still liked to watch a puppet show, Time for Beanie. Also, think of it this way. The Batman mythos. The Joker is supposed to have genius-level intelligence, but Batman knows that he is very, very vain, and he plays to that to stop him.
And there is very few things more vain than a dragon.
Yes, and not only vanity, greed, they could be tripped up by one of the 7 deadly sins or anything else that they have quirks, because they have quirks like any other character.
Right. Even the good ones, pride.
Yes. Yep. There might be that dragon out there who cannot refuse an interesting puzzle or a challenge.
And may let you go if you give him one.
If the fighter comes up and gives him a puzzle he can't figure out, he goes, oh, it's kind of like Sherlock Holmes. He's fascinated because all these crimes are puzzles to him.
Yep.
So you might have a dragon like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't let you go, you can sure as hell distract him long enough to either steal his stuff, kill him, or get the hell out of there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you definitely have to judge your dragon by the environment you're going to have the dragon encounter in. I'm not talking about your random wandering monster encounters that happen to come up dragon because you're out on the plains, up in the mountains, or out in the desert. I'm talking about your set pieces that are part of your adventure. You know there's a dragon there. You know the dragon is there for a reason. Why and what for? Whether it's in a city, whether it's with a temple, whether it's overlording over ruins or a lair, or whatever it is. Dragons inside a city, even the good or evil ones, they like to both play the politics games with players and people as their pawns.
Oh, yes.
Until they get unmasked and something explodes.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's true. And just using that reference, that's the whole thing. Just stepping outside second edition for a moment, that's the whole thing about introducing dragons in the game Shadowrun. That's exactly what they are. They're puppet masters.
Hell, my
manipulating. Sorry, Glenn.
No,
I'm
go ahead.
Just manipulating people, corporations, cities, countries. It's
trading cartels, mage guilds, clerical orders.
Yeah. The list can go on as far as you want.
Mind Lumber's novel had a red dragon as the owner of a cartage and caravan company, hiring people, dealing with things, politics, all this other stuff, pulling strings.
Mm-hmm.
So you can save them for like 10 adventures down the road when they finally dig deep enough and find out what's going on.
See, then you can...
And that doesn't even have to be a dragon that has the ability to shape change. That could be just one that's working through intermediaries. And you finally go to this really big warehouse that for some reason never gets shipments other than the occasional cow, and suddenly discover something else going on.
Right.
Just that's a dead giveaway.
Kojo, you can play this to the level of OSR, you can play it to the level of the deviousness of you could have them polymorphed into a female who's decided to go into politics and says, well, now that I've slept with the Mages Guild Master, he's behind me and we've decided that the Northern Woods are not a good area for citizens to go. So it's off limits due to monsters. Oh, yeah. Can you do me a favor, Kingy, sweetheart? Can you hire a group of adventurers to go up in that into the woods to find out what's going on? Because I'm hungry. I mean, we need to find out what's up in there.
Right.
Make them really powerful ones. I'm really itching to see a Rod of Resurrection in action.
One of the best ideas. Sorry, Glenn. One of the best ideas is have one polymorphed and hires a group of adventurers to go after another dragon. Why? Because it's encroached into its territory.
That's an adventure idea I have.
The dragon hire people to go after it itself just because it's bored.
Yeah.
And people are too scared to come after it normally, so it's trying to incite people so that it gets an opportunity to have interesting people to converse with before he eats them.
And let me tell you, correct me if I'm wrong, Corey, but later on in the realms, the Zentarum get overthrown by this one, knight and his lady or whatever, who are actually like demons. Why don't you make that a dragon instead?
Yeah. Because there's enough dragons in the realms that are already running things. You don't need to add more.
Yeah,
I mean,
Before we even go into anything else, you've got your OSR, you got your 1E, you got your 2E, you got your 3E dragons. There's a whole nother realm when you're talking about realms dragons.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because the realm dragons, I believe it was in one of the, like the 1E book that talks about dragons, the first thing it says to do is take whatever you've got for a dragon, and essentially you're going to double it.
Well,
it's going to have not 3 attacks, it's going to have 6 attacks. It's not going to have this, it's not going to be 120 feet long, it's going to be 240 feet long. It's going to have this for a strength. So you start combining all that stuff in, and yes, those dragons turn into the behemoth, gargantuan powerhouses that are responsible for the Forgotten Realms' reign of dragons when they have things that dominate everything.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was written
Automatically hasted.
That they actually wrote physiologically. I don't know if it was in Elmer's Ecologies or I'm not sure, but I remember reading that they actually wrote out why the realms dragons were bigger due to this planet size and the gravity. Like they actually went into detail why they're better. It was crazy. I was like, okay, dragons in Forgotten Realms are deadly.
Yeah.
Hey, Storm Giant strength, 6 attacks around plus spell or breath weapon. Don't knock it.
Arcane and
and you know, like I said about the personality, at that point you gotta outthink it.
It's one of the main creatures. It's the flagship creature. It's in the damn title of the game we all love.
I know.
I mean, you've got to, in my opinion, to kill a dragon, they're so deadly. You need to make sure they're asleep, full bellied, unable to fly in their cave, and their back should be to the door before you even attempt to go after it. You know,
in
maybe
an anti-magic shell so he doesn't trip his contingency.
Exactly. They should be so deadly. All my characters, my players, when I say, and if you go to the west, there's rumors of a dragon, they're like, we're going east. Wait, are we level 12? No, we're going east.
Thank you, Thank you, Kojo. Now that he's probably never going to run a dragon after listening to us.
Well, either that or his players are going to hate him.
Yeah.
No, hate us for giving him the idea.
You don't have to go full bore. Again,
I certainly
want
don't.
to dial it back enough so that it is a manageable encounter, whether it is a combat encounter that's intended or a social plus a little bit of combat to smackdown. But usually, players being players, when blood gets drawn, they want to make a fight to the finish of it.
Make it a teenage dragon.
They don't like to be subdued any more than dragons do. So, if you're going to start a fight with a dragon, be prepared to finish a fight with it.
Yeah. That's one of the 3 monsters that if you're going to start a fight with them, you better finish it. Dragons, giants, and extraplaners.
Trust me, he'll hold a grudge longer than your characters will live.
Oh,
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Okay. Do we have any other emails?
That's pretty much it.
That's all.
We have it. Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
Yep.
Wowzer. You came at the wrong time, Full-On.
I came in on a good one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did come on a good one.
The good news is you'll be here for my partner for when we do the Forgotten Realms one.
Yes. Yes, which will be coming up very soon.
The next episode after this one. Oh boy, if I decide to edit it right away.
If you won't, I will.
That's true. Okay, well, I guess that closes this email splat book. Don't forget to send more for thacoshammer@gmail.com. And give them the number.
405-866-0555.
In stereo.
Yes.
Okay, well, I guess it's time to close the splat book. Say goodbye, Corey.
See you later, guys. Keep flying.
Okay, how about you, Brian?
We're going to Toro, kids. Pack a lunch.
Full on.
And in the beginning, there were great and powerful dragons, Gamer Nation. You should learn to duck.
And I'm TM Glenn Say. We'll see you next time when the hammer comes down in Toril on THACO's Hammer. Bye-bye. Oh, man. I didn't think we'd get through the dragons thing. I mean, that was,
Sometimes.
Dragon, talk about an open-ended question.
Sometimes the light at the end of the tunnel is not.
THACO's Hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find more of his music on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at thacoshammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at thacoshammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. You can also find us on the second edition forums at osrgaming.org and at purpleworm.org. Or give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.